Have you ever wondered why some people almost seem to have been born rich? Not because they grew up with wealth, not because they had connections, not even because they were lucky. It's like they carry an invisible magnet inside them that keeps pulling money, opportunities, and abundance their way. And then there's you. You work, you hustle, you put in the hours, and yet your bank account feels like it's always on life support. Bills keep coming, the stress never leaves, and you can't shake off that heavy thought. Why is it so hard for me when it looks so easy for them? I know that feeling because I've lived it. There was a time when I was grinding day and night, barely making ends meet. I remember staring at my bank app at midnight, calculating what I could pay and what I'd have to push off until next week. I remember lying in bed, my chest tight, whispering to myself, I can't keep doing this forever. And here's the scary part. I almost quit. Quit trying. Quit believing. Quit dreaming. But then, something unexpected happened. Not a lottery ticket, not a business partner dropping from the sky, not even a raise. It was 3 simple phrases. At first, they didn't look like much. Honestly, if someone had handed me those phrases at another time, I probably would have rolled my eyes and said, "That's it? That's the big secret?" But when I started to not just repeat them, but actually feel them, something shifted inside me. It was like flipping a hidden switch in my brain. And that's when the changes began. Here's the truth. This isn't magic. It isn't wishful thinking. And it's definitely not about pretending to be happy while drowning in bills. This is neuroscience. It's about understanding how your brain wires beliefs and how those beliefs shape every choice, every habit, every financial decision you make. Whether you realize it or not, your brain is like software, and most of us are running an outdated program. One filled with lines of code like, money is hard to make. People like me never get rich. If I make money, I'll just lose it anyway. Sound familiar? What I discovered is that the phrases you repeat become the commands your brain runs on. They're not just words, they're instructions. And if you've been feeding your mind the wrong instructions, no wonder money keeps slipping through your fingers. But here's the good news. If words can trap you, words can also set you free. And that's exactly what these 3 phrases are. Not empty affirmations, not some cliche you read on a coffee mug, but carefully chosen keys that unlock a different way of thinking. And once you think differently, you act differently. And when you act differently, results follow. Now I know what you're probably thinking. Okay, sounds interesting. But will this actually work for me? That's a fair question, and I'll answer it. But before I give you the first phrase, I want you to remember something. The power isn't just in saying the words. The power comes when you align your brain, your emotions, and your body with those words. And I'm going to show you how to do exactly that. Because here's the thing. Phrase hash 1 opens the door. Phrase hash 2 keeps it open. And phrase hash 3, the one I'll reveal at the end, flips the lock in your mind so it never closes again. So if you've ever felt like you try, but the money never sticks, stay with me. Because in just a few minutes, you'll know exactly how to rewire that old program in your brain and install a new one. One designed for prosperity, growth, and freedom. But first, let me take you into a story. A true story that shows what happens when someone finally learns how to stop fighting against themselves and starts using their brain as their ally. And once you hear it, you'll understand why these 3 phrases are not just words. They're the foundation of a new financial reality. Let me tell you the story of an ordinary person Someone who could be me, someone who could be you. Let's call him Raphael. Raphael worked hard his whole life. He believed money only came through effort and sacrifice. He woke up before sunrise, crammed himself into packed buses, stayed late at work, and never complained. But at the end of the month, nothing. The bills were always bigger than his paycheck. His credit card was maxed out. And a toxic thought kept whispering in his head, "Money isn't for people like me." He repeated it without even noticing. Every day, in every phrase, in every complaint. "I can't afford that. That's too expensive for me. I'll never get out of this hole." Words that seemed harmless, but in reality, they were programming his brain to push prosperity away. And the result? Even when Raphael earned a little extra, the money would vanish. An emergency here, an unexpected expense there. It was as if some invisible force was working to keep him stuck in the same place forever. And maybe you felt that force too. But here's where it gets important. Raphael only began to change when he realized the problem wasn't his effort. It was his programming. The phrases he repeated without thinking were shaping his future, like a hidden script running in the background, controlling every result. And then came the turning point. One day, talking to a friend, he heard a phrase so simple, he almost laughed. His friend said, "Man, you've got to stop saying what you can't do. Start saying what you choose to do." The brain doesn't know the difference between reality and language. It just obeys whatever you repeat. At first, Raphael didn't buy it. It sounded like cheap self-help talk. But since he had nothing to lose, he decided to try. He began replacing destructive phrases with 3 different ones. At first they felt strange, almost unnatural, but over time, they became normal. And when they became normal, money started showing up. First, an unexpected raise at work. Then, a side opportunity he never would have noticed before. And soon after, an invitation into a project that completely changed his life. Raphael realized it wasn't coincidence. It was reprogramming. It was his mind finally working for him instead of against him. Now, here's the detail most people miss. It's not the words themselves that create the magic. It's the state they create inside you. It's like holding keys that unlock doors you never noticed were in front of you. And I need you to understand this. If you're stuck in debt, if money slips away the second you earn it, if you believe prosperity is for other people, it's not because you're lazy. It's not because you're not smart enough. It's because you may be repeating invisible phrases that slam doors shut before you even try to open them. That's why I need to show you the 3 phrases that changed everything for Raphael and for me. But not yet, because if I just handed them to you right now, you'd hear them, maybe even think they sound nice. But they wouldn't work. And I don't want this to be nice words. I want this to be transformation. So in the next part, I'll reveal the hidden mechanism, the science behind language and money. And only after you understand that will we go through the 3 phrases together, one by one, until we finally reach the last one. The phrase I almost didn't believe when I first heard it, but the phrase that completely rewired my relationship with money. And I promise you, when you hear it, you'll realize everything up to this point has been preparing you for that exact moment. Have you ever stopped to think that your brain works just like a computer? It doesn't argue. It doesn't judge. It simply executes the commands you give it. And do you know what the most powerful way to give commands to this supercomputer is? Language. The words you repeat every single day are like invisible lines of code. If you constantly say, "I can't," "I'll never make it," "Money isn't for people like me," guess what your brain does? It obeys. It builds invisible filters that confirm exactly what you repeat. Science even has a name for this: the Reticular Activating System, or RAS. It's the part of your brain that filters millions of bits of information and decides what's important for you to notice. If you keep saying you can't, your RAS literally deletes every opportunity that could prove you wrong. You become blind to chances of prosperity. But when you change your words, the filter changes. Suddenly, doors that were always there begin to appear in front of you. That's what happened to Raphael. And that's what happened to me. I realized I was trapped. Not because I wasn't working hard enough, but because I was feeding my brain phrases of scarcity every single day. When I switched those phrases, life didn't magically conspire for me. It was simply my brain finally working with me instead of against me. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. I'm going to reveal the first two phrases, but I don't want you to just hear them. I want you to feel them. Say them out loud. Engrave them deep inside you. Because repetition is what creates reprogramming. Phrase #1. I choose to see opportunities. It might sound too simple at first, but listen closely. When you say, "I choose to see opportunities," you're training your brain to step out of the victim mindset and into the creator mindset. Instead of thinking, "Nothing ever works out for me," you start asking, "What can I learn here? Where is the opportunity in this situation?" Let me give you a real example. A friend of mine lost her job during a crisis. Instead of repeating, "It's over for me," she decided to practice this phrase every single day. I choose to see opportunities. Within weeks, she noticed something she had ignored her whole life: her baking skills. She started selling cakes she used to make just for family. That turned into a business, then into a bakery, and today, she supports her entire family with it. The opportunity was always there. She just couldn't see it until she told her brain to look. Now, say it with me out loud. I choose to see opportunities. Feel the energy of that choice. Your brain is listening. Phrase #2. I deserve to live my best life now. This one is even more powerful because it destroys one of the biggest enemies of prosperity: the belief that you have to wait. Wait for the right moment. Wait until you have more experience. Wait until you have extra money. Wait until life gets better. But here's the truth. That perfect moment never arrives. When you say, "I deserve to live my best life now," you train your brain to stop postponing abundance. You begin to act differently. And when you act differently, the world responds differently. Here's a story. A simple man I know used to hold on to every penny out of fear. One day, he began practicing this phrase: I deserve to live my best life now. Soon after, he was offered a small partnership in a business. Before, he would have said, "No, that's not for me." But this time, he said yes. Today, that business has grown into a network that provides jobs for dozens of people. What changed? Not luck, not chance. It was belief. Because when you believe you deserve, you open space to receive. Now say it with me. I deserve to live my best life now. Let that phrase flow through your body. Let it replace years of hidden scarcity phrases you've been repeating without knowing. Now you know the first two phrases. And maybe you're already feeling a shift inside you. But here's the truth. These two phrases are powerful, yes, but they don't work alone. They prepare the ground. They open the door. But the key the key that actually turns the lock, is the third phrase. And that's where the real secret lies. The third phrase is the simplest of all, yet it carries the power to keep money flowing into your life. Without it, everything you gain could slip through your fingers. That's why I'm saving it until the end, because you need to be ready to receive it. But before I reveal it, I'm going to show you how to apply these phrases in your daily life in a practical way, so they stop being just words and start becoming your new reality. By now, you've said the first two phrases out loud. You've felt them. And maybe, just maybe, you've noticed a tiny spark inside you, a small shift in energy. But here's the truth. Nothing changes with a single repetition. The power doesn't come from knowing the phrases. It comes from living them, from weaving them into your daily routine until they stop being words you say and become the language your brain speaks by default. So let's talk about how to apply them in a way that actually reprograms your mind for prosperity. Step 1. Replace the automatic negativity. Every time you catch yourself saying things like, "I can't afford that. That's too expensive. I'll never get out of this mess." Stop, take a breath, and consciously swap those lines with, "I choose to see opportunities. I deserve to live my best life now." At first it will feel forced. Your brain will fight back. It will say, "But that's not true." And that's exactly the point. You're not repeating what's already true. You're repeating what you want to become true. Remember, the brain doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. It only follows instructions. Step 2. Anchor them in your body. Words are powerful, but words plus emotion are unstoppable. So when you say the phrases, don't just whisper them mindlessly. Say them with feeling, with conviction. Stand tall, breathe deep, put your hand over your heart, and embody the phrase. When you say, "I choose to see opportunities," picture doors opening, emails arriving, someone making you an offer. Let your body feel excitement. When you say, "I deserve to live my best life now," let yourself smile. Imagine enjoying something you once thought was out of reach, and let your nervous system register it as safe. Because when your body believes, your brain follows. Step 3. Turn repetition into ritual. Repetition wires the brain. So here's a simple ritual. In the morning, before you check your phone, repeat each phrase 3 times out loud. During the day, every time you face a challenge, whisper the first phrase, "I choose to see opportunities." At night, right before sleep, when your subconscious is most open, repeat the second phrase, "I deserve to live my best life now." That's it. 3 simple anchors: morning, challenge, and night. If you do this for 21 days, your brain will start building new default pathways. Step 4. Track the evidence. This is where most people fail. They expect miracles overnight. But here's the secret. The opportunities and abundance don't always arrive like lightning. Sometimes they arrive as whispers. Maybe someone gives you advice you wouldn't have noticed before. Maybe you see a side hustle opportunity. Maybe you finally feel bold enough to apply for that promotion. Write it down. Every single time something shifts, even if it looks small. Because as you track the evidence, your brain gets proof that the new program is working, and then it amplifies it. Now let me be clear. These 2 phrases can already create transformation. They can shift your mindset from scarcity to growth. They can turn blind spots into opportunities. They can help you stop waiting for someday and start receiving now. But, and this is the crucial part, they're not enough on their own. Imagine building a house. The first phrase lays the foundation. The second phrase builds the walls. But without the third phrase, the roof is missing. And what happens to a house without a roof? Everything inside eventually gets destroyed. That's why I've been telling you from the beginning, the third phrase is different. It's the one that locks the program into place. It's the one that keeps money flowing in instead of leaking out. Without it, you might attract wealth, but you won't keep it. Without it, you might open the door, but it will slam shut again. That's why I've saved it for last. Because when you hear it, when you truly let it sink in, you'll understand why everything we've talked about so far was preparing you for this exact moment. So here's what we're going to do. In the final part, I'll reveal the third phrase. I'll explain why it works, how it flips the deepest switch in your brain, and how to use it so you never go back to the old program. It's the simplest of all three, and yet it's the one that can completely rewrite your financial destiny. Stay with me, because the last phrase is the one you've been waiting for your whole life, even if you didn't know it until now. We've come this far together. You've seen how Raphael changed his life. You've felt the shift of the first two phrases. You've learned how language programs your brain like code in a computer. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the third phrase, the simplest, yet the most powerful of all. Are you ready? Here it is. Money flows easily to me. Say it once, out loud, then pause. Notice what happens inside your body when you say it. For some of you, it might feel exciting. For others, it might feel uncomfortable, maybe even unbelievable. And that's exactly why it works. Because this phrase speaks directly to the deepest filter your brain has about money. For most people, the unconscious program is, money is hard, money is stressful, money comes with struggle. So the brain keeps creating that reality. But when you repeat, money flows easily to me, you're not just saying words, you're writing a new command into your nervous system. Why this phrase works? Remember the reticular activating system we talked about? When you start telling your brain that money flows easily, it begins to filter reality in a new way. Suddenly, instead of only noticing obstacles, you start noticing possibilities. Instead of clinging to fear, you start recognizing solutions. Instead of sabotaging yourself when opportunities come, you feel safe to say yes. It's not magic. It's not luck. It's neuroplasticity. Your brain rewiring itself to make prosperity feel natural, not forced. A real example, I knew a man who used to carry this belief. I have to break my back to earn $1. And guess what? He did. He worked himself to exhaustion, and the money never stayed. When he began practicing this third phrase, everything changed. At first, it felt like a lie. He would laugh nervously when he said it. But little by little, opportunities that required less effort but offered more return started showing up. He got invited to consult on a project that paid him double what his regular job did. Then he invested in something small that multiplied quickly. Soon, he wasn't chasing money anymore. It was finding him. That's the power of this phrase. How to use it. Here's the key. Don't just say it. Feel it. Imagine water flowing gently in a river. Steady, effortless, unstoppable. Imagine that flow carrying money into your life in the same way. Every time you repeat the phrase, connect it with that image. The brain learns through repetition and emotion. The more vividly you feel it, the faster it becomes your new reality. So once again, say it with me now. Money flows easily to me. Let it land. Let your body relax into it. The bigger picture. Now you understand why I couldn't just give you this phrase in the beginning. If you had skipped straight to it, your brain would have rejected it. It would have said, "No way, that's not true for me." But now, after preparing your mind with the first two phrases, you're ready. Phrase hash 1 opened your eyes to opportunities. Phrase hash 2 reminded you that you deserve abundance now. And phrase hash 3 locks it in, making prosperity your new default. Final message. So here's my challenge for you. For the next 30 days, practice these 3 phrases every single day. I choose to see opportunities. I deserve to live my best life now. Money flows easily to me. Morning, midday, and night. Write them down. Say them out loud. Feel them in your body. And watch what happens. Because if you stay consistent, you'll start to notice the same thing Raphael did. The same thing I did. The same thing thousands of people experience when they finally stop fighting against themselves and let their brain work for them. At first, it might be small shifts, a new idea, a kind gesture, an unexpected discount. Then, bigger shifts, new income, new opportunities, new connections. And eventually, you'll realize something profound. Prosperity was never out there. It was always waiting for you to install the right program, looping to stay connected. Now, before we end, I want you to do one more thing. Don't leave yet. Stay here a little longer, because I've prepared something special. Music designed to help your brain absorb these phrases even deeper. As you sit here and let the sound carry you, imagine the words echoing inside your mind, writing a new story line by line. Let it settle. Let it become who you are. And while you stay, hit subscribe to this channel, because this is just the beginning. In the next videos, we'll go even deeper. More tools, more science, more ways to rewire your brain for wealth, peace, and freedom. Every practice builds on the last. Every step takes you closer to the life you know you were meant to live. So don't stop here. Stay with me, because the flow has already begun. Before you go, take one last breath and ask yourself, what did I just learn about myself today? Maybe you realized how often your own words limit you. Maybe you felt a new spark of possibility. Maybe for the first time, you saw that prosperity isn't outside of you. It's inside, waiting to be unlocked. That's what this channel, the Sacred Brain, is here for. To give you the tools, the science, and the practices to reprogram your mind so you can create the life you deserve. So hit subscribe right now, because every week you'll find new practices designed to expand your mind, calm your heart, and open the flow of abundance. And if you've already subscribed, you're not just watching videos, you're joining a community of people rewriting their stories together. Now, don't leave just yet. Stay here with me a little longer. Let the music that follows sink deep into your mind. Close your eyes. Reflect on your life, on the words you've repeated until now, and the new words you've chosen today. Let the sound carry those phrases into every cell of your body. Stay with it, because the longer you remain, the stronger this new program becomes. And remember, every time you come back to this practice, you're not just watching another video. You're rewiring your brain for freedom, peace, and prosperity. Stay, reflect, let it flow.